Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. And of course, judging by this video, you've probably able to guess that, yep, I went ahead and bought that car. The car I call the cheapest XKR X150 in the country. But then I guess I'm soon realizing that there's no such thing as a cheap XKR. And when I say cheap, let's talk context here. So we're in February 2023 now. At this moment in time, an X150, in my view, will cost you no less than £13,000, £12,000, no less than that. One that hasn't got problems. Yeah, you might be able to pick up a cheaper one, but really, you're not going to get one cheaper than that. So if you haven't got 10, 12, well, at least 12 grand to spend, don't even think about buying a Jaguar XKR X150 for less than 12, 13. Just don't do it. No such thing. Even if somebody's selling you an X150 XKR for 20p, you can bet your life you're going to get at least 10, 11,000 pounds worth of invoices coming through. Pretty much immediately after your ownership, up until you're about to the level that it should be. So I got this for £9,200. Now actually the car was 9,000. I paid £200 extra for a private plate, and the private plate was already on the car. And because this is an 07 model with 100,000 miles on the clock, bang on 100,000, I thought it's good to hide this car's age with a private plate. And if you're getting one for 200 quid, then, well, why would you say no? So, comes with that private plate, 9,200. Although I'm not sure about these stupid 3D number plates. I mean, I'm a member of the BAME community, but I must say, the BAME community is very guilty of getting these stupid 3D number plates that just make it look like, I don't know, I think it loses a touch of class. So I've ordered new number plates, normal number plates, to replace these number plates. Obviously same registration, but not that 3D nonsense. So what do I think of the car and what have I learnt about it? Now, I bought this car 2 weeks ago, so it's been 2 weeks to the day. And I've been driving around and examining the car. Never owned an XKR, always wanted one. This one came up. Now, first thing I did was get it to a Jaguar specialist. The car had good history, but was due a service. So the last service on this car was in February 2022, February 2023 now. So the next service was due. The last service was 96,000 miles, and the service prior to that was 92,000 miles, and it's got pretty much a good service history. The only thing I didn't have was receipts for the work that was done, so I wasn't sure whether or not this car is has had all the maintenance done, because the service book doesn't really tell you much. Like, you know, Mercedes service books, they have tick boxes to tell you what work's been carried out, not the Jaguar one. So there's just stamps there, no invoices, so I had no idea. So took it down to a specialist and they gave it a once over. And, well, there was a number of things. So where do I start? Obviously, when you buy the cheapest XKR in the country, you're expecting some bills. You'd be very stupid to not expect any bills when you're buying the cheapest car in its class of its type. So why did I buy this car? I'll tell you why. Because firstly, when I walked around the bodywork, I didn't see any dinks or signs of cancer. That was number one. I thought, okay, foundationally, bodywork, good. Tires were not budget tires, branded tires, lots of tread on them. Gave a nod to a good owner. So even though I didn't have the invoices and the histories, I felt like I was buying it after somebody responsible had owned it. And then when you look at the interior for a 100,000 mile car, and you look at that, and you look at the state of the carpet, and how clean the door card carpets were, I just thought, well, actually this car's really been looked after. So for that reason, I decided that even if there was things wrong with it, I would invest in the car and get it up to where it should be, because it was worth my investment. So, and some of the problems that I've already encountered is obviously this notorious fogging of the headlight, but these are so expensive to replace, it's ridiculous. So I'm not sure I'm going to replace that. Maybe I'm just going to get somebody to sand them down and put clear coat on them, and that should this one's not too bad, this one's actually quite good, but that one it's not great, you know. I don't know if it's coming up in the camera, but yeah, you can see it's just, nah, doesn't look very nice. So I might have to think about that. Tires have plenty of wear on them, but they're a bit old, so the compound might have hardened, and I might want to treat myself with my next paycheck to a nice set of new Michelin All Sports, nice and soft. The other thing I found with this car is, I don't know if I can show you, but if you can see, there's a gap there in the seal of the glass where the rear glass meets the first glass. And when Jaguar Chiltern looked at it, they said that actually somebody's done a cowboy job, taken out the bracket, which is known to crack, and tried to secure this with a screw. And they have secured it with a screw, but it's not secured in the right place. So I'm sourcing a new glass with the bracket. And it's just come back from Chiltern actually yesterday. And let's look at the work that they did, and what was the bill, what were the problems that they found, and how much it cost me to get it up to where it is now, and it still wants a bit more money. So let's see. Let's have a look at the invoice. And you can see the grand total, £2,089. And I'm still not entirely done with it. So far the car is costing me £11,300, I would say. But what have we had done? So carried out the 10,000 miles interval service, replaced the air filters, and there's two of them, £45 each. Repair offside front headlight earth point. So the front headlight earth point tends to get lost. It's a common fault on these Jaguar XKRs, and it needed rewiring. Somebody had done a cowboy job on it, and as a result, the side light wasn't really operating properly, and it may have caused me problems in an MOT, even though it didn't come up as an advisory on the last one. So I had that done, and that was another 45 quid. And yeah, well, actually, and then I had replace a near side rear lower wishbone arm. So that was very dear, had play in it. It cost me £383 fitted. And then the big one, replace both engine mounts. Now, but one engine mount was totally gone and the second one was cracked, so I had no engine mounts. Unbeknown to me, it drove pretty smooth, but that cost me about 500 and something pounds to fix, replace both engine mounts, which is cheap for engine mounts, but still a big bill, and it made a big difference. Then I had an issue with the rear parking sensor where one of them was going off, and that's still a problem. So that's going back to Jaguar Chiltern, because I paid £223 to resolve a fault that hasn't been resolved. So I'm going to speak to Mark at Chiltern Jaguar about that, and hopefully they can sort it for me. And then I had the gearbox serviced, which was serviced by Jaguar Chiltern for £469. So I should have changed the pollen filter and the spark plugs, but I ran out of money this paycheck, so I decided I had to make a choice. Do I go for the transmission service, or do I change the spark plugs and the pollen filter? and I chose to do the transmission service because I'd rather protect the gearbox and drive the car another 2,000-3,000 miles before I change the plugs on it and change the pollen filter on it. So that was a compromise I didn't want to make, but my budget was £2,000 really, you know, for this visit, and I didn't really want to go over that. So the things that are still pending on the car is sorting that window out, and then also just let me show you a common fault in Jaguar X50s. Look at this. Putting my window out. Oops. Look at that. That is wafer thin for a window switch bezel. For a car that's marketed for nearly 70,000-80,000 pounds when new, to give someone a switch component that looks like it belongs in a Kinder Egg is unforgivable. So yeah, I've asked the dealer to order me one of those. Hopefully when it comes, it just fits and actually stays there. But right now it's a bit embarrassing. You're driving along with your lovely, beautiful lady friend. She wants to put the window up because she's feeling a bit chilly, and your cool, sexy looking car now looks like it's freaking falling apart. So need to sort that out. So yeah, there you have it. That's where we are so far. Bought the Jag, love the Jag. Now I will do another video of myself driving the car once I get myself a proper rig. I'll tell you what, despite all its faults, despite it having not the best build quality, I love driving this car. I absolutely love driving this car. It's such a great drive. It shifts so well. And now with a serviced transmission, I am going to enjoy the flappy paddle gearbox. Now you can also see that I went for the older non-knob, old, not J-gate, but an L-gate, let's call it, gear stick, because I think it's just got a bit more character. It reminds me of the old Jags and the Heritage, and that new doorknob gear selector. I don't know, I think it's more of something that Tata introduced, and it doesn't really feel very British and doesn't really have the character of the old J-gate. So I wanted a model, an XKR, that had the old J-gate, and when this came up at the right price, I thought absolutely. Apart from that, they checked it out. There's no other play in the suspension apart from the rear lower wishbone arm that I had replaced. He did say that the rear subframes are looking a bit not great, but no, fine, but starting to corrode a bit. So I know in the next 10 to 20,000 miles, those will have to be changed. I did say if they needed changing now, and he said nope, there's no play on them. They're still nice and tight. So the suspension's good, the tires are good, the brakes are good, all the belts in the engine are good. And now I've serviced the engine, serviced the gearbox, and sorting out some little electric gremlins, like I mentioned. I think I'm on to a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on the update, but that's where I've got to so far on being a custodian of this Jaguar XKR for the time being. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and if you're a Jaguar XKR owner, let me know what your experience is like. I normally drive Mercedes SLs, CLs, S-classes, S-class coupes, but I always wanted one of these because it's a plucky little underdog, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love driving it. When I drive this car, I feel like this just feels more reliable than an SL55 AMG. It just does. I don't know how to explain it, but in a 55 AMG, you just feel like the compressor belt is going to snap on you at a moment's notice. And I used to drive one with a spare belt in my boot, and I don't feel like that in this car. I feel like it's just, all of it is going to be operational more of the time, although it is not as refined as its rivals, as its foreign exotic rivals. But I love this car. I really, really do. It's such a joy to drive. I look forward to driving it. In fact, I'm taking it out right now. Adios.